Hello everybody, this is the Primal Earth with Episode 1, Part 1, Season 1 of Dino Battles, with the first two fighters or combaters being Cryolophosaurus Elliot. Please correct me if I pronounce that wrong. So Cryolophosaurus and Dilophosaurus. So, let's jump right into it. Cryolophosaurus, meaning frozen crested lizard, often called nicknamed Elvis due to its crest, was a 23 to 23 foot long carnivore that lived in Antarctica. It was approximately 500 kilograms, and it lived about approximately 188 to 193 million years ago. Dilophosaurus, or double-crested lizard, due to its double crest on its head, was approximately 21 feet and weighed 465 kilograms. It lived in Arizona, North America, approximately 186 to 191 million years ago. Today, they will be battling each other. Now, is it likely or not that they ever actually fought in real life? There's a possibility due to them being in practically the same time, but due to the fact that one lived in North America and the other lived in Antarctica, even though Pangea was connected at this time, sorta, kinda, we aren't certain that they would have ever crossed paths. But in the scenario that they did, this would be what would happen, in my opinion. So let's analyze their attributes that would help them in this fight and their weaknesses that would not help them in this fight. Let's get started. So, up here with Cryolophosaurus, a big feature that it has is the fact that it is bigger than Dilophosaurus. It's bigger than Dilophosaurus. So there's one thing. Another thing you have with Cryolophosaurus is it has much larger arms in comparison to Dilo. The Cryolophosaurus was also more muscular, and it was bigger all around. So it was a bigger dinosaur, it was a more muscular dinosaur, and it was a perfectly suited to its environment. Now, the environments that Dilophosaurus and Cryolophosaurus lived in, even though one lived in Antarctica and the other lived in Arizona, North America, was practically the same, due to them being on the Pangean or Gondwanan supercontinent at the time, where all land was connected and Antarctica was almost tropical. Now let's analyze some of the weaknesses of Cryolophosaurus. One weakness that it has is that it would be slower than Dilophosaurus, meaning that Dilophosaurus could run around, get a bite in, run around, get a bite in, and Cryolophosaurus wouldn't be able to do that because it is not as fast. It wouldn't be as fast as Dilophosaurus. Another disadvantage that Cryolophosaurus would have would be, actually, if you think about it, Cryolophosaurus doesn't really have any more disadvantages. It does have the disadvantage of being slow, but everything else about it says, hey, this animal is perfectly suited to killing this dinosaur. So, if that's the case, let's move on to contestant number 2. Dilophosaurus. So now, let's analyze the features of the Dilophosaurus. So, right off the bat, one feature I see in this skeleton is an opposable thumb right there. Now, in Dilophosaurus, it has an opposable thumb. Other than primates, very few animals actually have opposable thumbs. So, having this opposable thumb means that it can actually, because the cryolophosaurus, it can slash and claw, but Dilophosaurus, I shouldn't put emphasis on the I, Dilophosaurus can actually grab you and hold you there, and you're not getting away. This guy can slash at you, sort of, kind of hold you, but in the end, Dilophosaurus can hold on to you. But another thing Cryolophosaurus doesn't have, even though its arms are longer, they're not as powerful as in Dilophosaurus. Because Dilophosaurus can grab you and then grab you with one hand, slash you multiple times with the other, while Cryolophosaurus can go slash, 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 and you can have time to get away. The biggest advantage that Dilophosaurus has is its size. Yes, its size. Even though this guy has the advantage of the size, this guy also does. The reason being is because Dilophosaurus actually would be faster than Cryolophosaurus due to Cryolophosaurus' bulk. Dilophosaurus also has a feature that's sort of apparent in Cryolophosaurus due to the fact that they are closely related, but it's not as apparent. Take a look at this jaw. Up. Right there. See how it curves up and then down? Like that. Now look at the Dilophosaurus. It goes down and curves up radically. And then in here, it goes and then curves up and then hooks down. Now Dilophosaurus, it goes and radically hooks up and then radically hooks back down. This means that when Dilophosaurus has bitten you, it's not going to let go. It is hooked in there. It is hooked in there with its mouth. And its mouth would actually be more effective at holding than its hands. And in case you were wondering, no, it does not have the advantage of venom, because Dilophosaurus did not spit venom or possess a frill. I don't know what InGen had put into its DNA that made it do that, but Dilophosaurus did not do that in real life. So, now that we got that cleared up, let's go into how I think a battle between these two Jurassic monsters would play out. Let's get into it. Okay. Picture a scene in a Jurassic forest. Trees everywhere, and then in the center a small little clearing. There's footsteps and crackling as a Cryolophosaurus enters the clearing from one side. So it looks around, sniffs the air, and then you hear crackling and footsteps on the other side. A Dilophosaurus comes out from the clearing on the other side. The Dilophosaurus and Cryolophosaurus eyeball each other closely. Cryolophosaurus starts to size up the Dilophosaur. Dilophosaurus starts to size up the Cryolophosaur. Then Dilophosaur roars. Envision it, a loud roar, screeching from the Dilophosaur. The Dilophosaur roars, then the Cryolophosaurus roars. The fight is on. The Cryolophosaurus starts to run toward the Dilo, and it bites down, narrowly missing the Dilophosaur. The Dilophosaur sidesteps out of the way, and then turns and bites down on the flank of the Cryolophosaur. Now, but due to the fact that it is the flank, it cannot hold on that well. The Cryolophosaurus, being bigger, muscles its way out of its jaws and breaks free with only a scar. The Dilophosaur roars again, but the Cryolophosaurus roars back this time. Cryolophosaurus runs toward it and grabs onto the flank of the Dilophosaurus, slashing at it with its three-fingered hands. The Dilophosaurus quickly maneuvers out of the way as it's being scratched. Now the Dilophosaurus is injured as well. The Dilophosaurus, being the faster of the two, circles around the cryolophosaurus, and then at the opportune moment, runs and jumps onto the flank of the cryolophosaurus, knocking it down. The cryolophosaurus is now on the ground with the Dilophosaurus on its chest. The Dilophosaurus eyeballs the cryolophosaurus, but then with one powerful kick with its muscular leg, the cryolophosaurus kicks it off. The Dilophosaurus goes flying and lands on the ground a few feet away. The cryolophosaurus gets up and shakes off its wounds. It roars again at the Dilophosaurus as the Dilophosaurus gets up. The cryolophosaurus runs in from the front, slams its larger head into the smaller head of the Dilophosaurus, knocking it off balance. The cryolophosaurus turns its head swiftly, bites down on the neck of the Dilophosaurus. The Dilophosaurus cannot escape this. The Dilophosaurus tries to muscle its way out, but in the end, the cryolophosaurus has a death grip on its neck. The cryolophosaurus twists its jaw muscle, flexes its jaw muscle, biting down on the neck ever so hardly. The Dilophosaurus screeching in pain as its neck is slowly being crushed by the cryolophosaurus' jaws. The cryolophosaurus then, in one fell swoop, opens his jaws and then snaps them down. The Dilophosaurus screams one last time, but then is abruptly cut off. The cryolophosaurus has won. Now, if you guys can envision that, I'd say it's pretty accurate that Cryolophosaurus would most definitely win against the Dilophosaurus. So, it's now up to you guys. Who do you guys think should win? Vote in the comments down below, typing in IV, Dilophosaurus, and Cryolophosaurus. And by the time I'm ready to make the next Dino battle, which is T-Rex versus Giganotosaurus, I will have decided I will have counted up the votes in the comments, and whichever dino had the most votes makes it on to the next round between the winner of the T-Rex and the Giganotosaurus. So, hope you like this episode of Dino Battles. Hope to see you next time in the next episode of Dino Battles. And don't forget to leave a like. Have a great day, and we're out.